restored. It used to be a parking lot where they put a lot of old vehicles and trash and whatever. And he used to say, like, he could see just the fluid waste covering this whole, would run down from that parking lot and cover this whole river. And you could see all that, that skim all the way down. And this, yes, that is, horrible. But what makes it even worse is that this is the part of the river when we have salmon coming down. This is the part where the salmon's body starts changing from freshwater into saltwater. So this transition zone is like one of the most important areas of this river for the survival of salmon, and which is why through a combination of community, businesses, county, and city, we're able to buy that parcel over there, get rid of all the industrial use of it, and turn it into a salmon habitat. And I say this is, that's a pretty dramatic, upgrade, I would say. But I do want to talk about how we as an individual make a difference. And it goes back to John Beale, who, how many people know the story of John Beale? So what you're looking at today, from what that river was, and it all started with one person, John Beale. And John Beale was an average guy who he was a Vietnam vet with a lot of physical problems, health problems. And he lived on Ham Creek. And so he was given 6 months to live. And so he decided he was going to start cleaning up, because Ham Creek was basically a garbage dump. And it had all the same effluents and everything in it. So he started cleaning it up. And as he started cleaning it up, his house started to recover. And he brought his other fellow war veterans who were having similar health problems to join him. And their health started to benefit. And in part of this process of cleaning up Ham Creek, the creek health became better, and he started focusing and saying, this is a river, this is not a garbage dump. And so he spent the rest of his very long life after that really championing and going against huge odds to say, this is a river, we need to care for it. So what you see here started with one man, and I'll say he was not an exceptional, like a huge leader. He was one guy, I don't even think he made it through high school, but with determination, he created so many. Not only he was one of those that started the Superfund project. He lobbied for that really strongly. He started the Washington Veterans Conservation Corps, because when they saw how, the benefit of having, the health benefits for war vets, that started in Washington. Now it's across the whole nation. And there's a lot of other programs that he started. So I'm saying we all can make a difference. And it doesn't matter if your focus is on the environment, on health, or your community. We all have that ability to make a difference. That's it. Good job. And his story is actually on History Link. Yeah.
We are live at the Duwamish River tour.
Gotta go back to work. Bye.
Thank you for that wonderful information. That
Thank
was
you.
awesome. Thank you so much.
I'm traveling with you. So I, to add to that is that a lot of this work that is done by the county, by our cities and all, is really dependent too on community volunteers because we care for it. And so this site here is where I got involved. And, 15 years ago, and I'm still here volunteering and coordinating the efforts of all of our partners. So
Now, what is the bridge that we just crossed?
well, they call it the Northwoods Weir Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so from the Duwamish tribe, they would catch their fish here. And then as we go up to like Duwamish Gardens, that's where they would dry them. So these are all, oops, these sites have great history, especially with the tribes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. And again, your name is?
Sharon Lishman with Duwamish Alive Coalition.
All right. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah. We are here at the Duwamish River Tour. Just received some great information. Actually, I saw an artifact that was 5,000 years old.
Doesn't look that impressive, but it could look like this in 10, 15 years. So it's sometimes hard to have the vision of what things used to look like and what they can look like. But another thing I want to point out is that Cecil Moses, which was established, as Sharon was saying, in the early 2000s, is the oldest site that we're going to see today. This is the next oldest site. And then the last one we're going to see was finally constructed, I think, in 2023. So very, very new. And so what we're really seeing right now as we go through these sites is a progression of restoration projects and the way that we understand our best management practices. How do we design these projects according to the science that we have at the time? And how has that changed over time? So Cecil Moses, for instance, has this little tiny backwater in it, and it's got this little entrance that goes to a little pool. And the time it was constructed, we thought that was great, but the entrance is actually so high that at low tide, it's totally cut off. It's also a very narrow entrance. And when we go to this next site, you'll see that it won't have a narrow high entrance. It's got the biggest mouth you could ever see. It's really easy for fish to get into that site, which is something that we've learned by doing studies and research and determining what the fish actually need and what's going to invite them into the site so they can take advantage of the environment. So these plants, planted in 2010. Sharon, did you plant any of these?
The interesting thing is all these cottonwood trees are volunteers.
Really?
Yeah. And also what's very, very cool is that if you look, the madrones are all volunteers and they came from Duwamish Hill by birds. So nature helps.
We're going to walk down here. We're going to cross the street. The light to across the street is very, very short. So we might end up doing it in like 2 different batches. Sorry, it's really short. I don't know why. As soon as it turns white, then it starts turning red again. So, yeah. But we will start walking that way and head towards the next site, which is Chinook Wind.
Alicia,
Yes.
can you share a little of the information we shared when we were back in the...
Yeah. So, the short of it is that the Duwamish River is really highly engineered, and it didn't used to be. This area used to be really wet and really rich for salmon and really rich for wildlife. And European settlers came in and changed everything. We straightened out the river. We filled in all the wet spots. We sloughed off all the hills, put industry on the river because at the time, those industries needed ways to transport things. So we put cement factories. There's actually still a steel plant right on the mouth of Longfellow Creek on the Duwamish River. And the result of that has been a lot of pollution, a lot of contamination. There's multiple Superfund sites on the Duwamish. There are
What's
5
a Superfund site?
Superfund. That's a great question. So in the 1990s, we created this program called Superfund, which is where if a site reaches a certain threshold of contamination and it has access to a pot of money that was previously called Superfund. I don't actually think that fund exists anymore, but it's still considered a Superfund site. It was designated in 2001. Actually, we have multiple Superfund sites on the Duwamish. There are also multiple combined sewage overflows on the Duwamish River, which means that in a really heavy rain event, instead of the water that falls on the pavement, instead of that going to the wastewater treatment plant, it will combine with sewage, and the stormwater and the sewage will empty out into the Duwamish River. So that's raw sewage going into the river. There's a lot of contamination. All that to say, it's a big uphill battle to try to restore things, to try to make things better for salmon. My job is all about salmon improvement and salmon recovery. And it's complicated, not only because of all the things I just mentioned, but also because of jurisdictional complexity. So we are moving from a park that is a King County park in the city of Tukwila with City of Seattle utilities on it next to a state highway, which means that those at a minimum are the people we need to be collaborating with, but we're also needing to collaborate with the tribes. We need to collaborate with the communities that are affected. There's a massive community of people who come from a lot of different areas in Seattle to fish, specifically at South Moses Park. So there's just a lot of things that need to be taken into consideration before we start work on any of these parts of the river. Even if it's doing something like at South Moses Park, removing tires which need to be removed. Yuck. Yeah, what is there other stuff that you can recall?
That was great. We'll catch up a little bit more later.
Okay.
Thank you. That was Alicia, our tour guide. What do you think so far of what you've seen? Any comments?
Oh, it's really exciting to hear. I work with the Washington Conservation Corps in the South King County Environmental Justice Crew. So we work in Tukwila, Burien, and SeaTac, and we haven't been able to do a tour of this site yet. So it's really exciting to be able to see and kind of hear from different people about how the natural history and the human history come together.
Thank you. Grab a couple more. What did you think of what you've seen so far?
It's been so interesting. I didn't know this was all here, and just the history and getting to see the artifacts and actually touch them. I mean, it's having something. We better get the.
Oh. All right, we're going to cross here. How about a little comment from you about what you've seen so far, what you've experienced, and what your thoughts are?
It's been pretty cool. Yeah, very, very exciting. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll get a couple final comments from over here. So far, is this what you expected?
Oh, yeah, beyond. It's a completely immersive educational Earth Day for me. Thank you.
All right. Happy Earth Day, everyone. We're going to be signing off here. We'll catch up with you again. Again, this is Rainier Avenue Radio in partnership with King County Parks. We're celebrating Earth Day with a tour of the Duwamish River and an incredible history as well. We'll be back with you a little bit later.